Hello there guys, I'm the CHALL and welcome back to another video. Now today, it's just finished. The roller coaster of the FA Cup, isn't it? Norwich City 1, Man United 2 in extra time. Harry Maguire with the winning goal, and you know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. Yes, Harry Maguire got the winning goal, and putting some decent blocks, and got a couple of headers on, on shot, and even though it missed, and he scored that goal, of course. So, overall, Harry Maguire didn't have a massively bad game as it could have been, but I just feel like his turning circle is like an oil tanker. He's just so slow at reacting. And the Cantwell goal, I watched it back a couple of times, and it played it a couple of times. He was just ball watching. And, even though he scored the goal and he got us into the semi-finals, and I'm really glad he did, I just think he was great, but he wasn't the best player on the field. Again, best player on the field, I've got to give it to Luke Shaw. I think he was the man of the match for me. I don't care what BBC says about Harry Maguire. I think that Luke Shaw personally was man of the match. They have their own opinions. I have mine. They think Harry Maguire is man of the match because they took them to the semi-finals. I personally think that Luke Shaw is the man of the match because I think overall, consistently, over the 90 minutes and the added 30, I think he had a decent game. And I'm going to say that with pride. I think that Harry Maguire had a good game, but I think Luke Shaw had just as good, if not better, game. So it was kind of a toss-up between the two, but I think Luke Shaw deserved it in the end. But Harry Maguire still had a great game. But to be honest, I think that for that 90 minutes, I think we looked very, very shaky at times. And, especially when they went down to 10 men, I think that Norwich did... they did personally have better chances, especially in the second half. And it's just, I don't think Man U had their best game today. I think we looked very, very shaky. The first half, Lingard, Mata, why were you even on the field in the first place? I know we had to rest Rashford. I know we had to rest Pogba. I know we had to rest, Martial, because they're first teamers. They don't play the cup games, even if they're lower ones, but I still felt like they could have come on sooner because Norwich, you see the thing about Norwich, right? They've got two quick fullbacks in Jamal Lewis and Max Aarons. They've got the very good fullbacks, and I think Norwich in the Championship, because I think, ultimately they will get relegated in my opinion, I think Norwich should take those fullbacks into the Championship. Don't give them for 25-30 million and then replace them with a different player. Because they don't deserve that. Aarons and Lewis will develop at Norwich City, and they'll be developed into full first-team experienced players, and they'll never lose that pace unless an injury kills them off, Hector Bellerin. And in all seriousness, I think those two are brilliant, brilliant fullbacks. And you know what? Actually, speaking of the squads, I'm going to go through the Man U squad, because of course I'm a Man U follower, as well as a Doncaster Rovers childhood fanboy. Well, not fanboy technically. But, as well as being a childhood supporter of my Doncaster Rovers, I am a follower of Man U. So it's best to go through those players. I didn't in the last review with Sheffield United, but I feel like today we need to start with that process. So I've got the squad here with me, so bear with me if I look down. And let's start off then. So Romero, put in a good few saves. I give him, an average 6. I was debating on 6 or 7, but I might go with a 6 today. I think Romero should have maybe saved that Cantwell goal, but again, I'll give my credit to Cantwell. It was a great goal, but I think Maguire shouldn't have been ball watching. Maybe he should have stuck a leg out, maybe. Just anything to try and block it, but what will be, will be. Whatever will be, will be. Moving into the defence then, Diego Dalot. He got minutes on the pitch. He got minutes, played till 63 minutes. But again, Dalot got minutes, and I think that, I think he was all right. So, again, I'll give him an average 6. Let's go with Bailly. I think he was up there. I think it wasn't the best defender. So I think with Bailly, I'd give him a 7, in my opinion. Maguire, I give him an 8. I think he did have mistakes in the first half and the second half, but I think especially in extra time, I think that he turned it on pretty quickly. So I think that an 8 is a fair result. Luke Shaw gets a 9 in my opinion. Not a perfect 10, it wasn't the perfect performance, but you know, I was debating between a high 8 and a 9, but I think Luke Shaw in the end gets a 9 for me. I think, like I said, between him and Maguire, it was very, very close, especially with the extra time performance of Harry Maguire. So I think that Luke Shaw should get the 9 for me. At midfield, McTominay, apart from passing the ball, where was he today? I just think he deserves an average 6. Fred, again, average, I was debating between a 6 or a 5. I think it was a passer of the ball again. He put in a couple of blocks. He did put in a couple of good tackles, so I'm going to give him a 6, again, like McTominay. Mata, 4. I just didn't think Mata was poor today. I think, like I said, with the two fullbacks, they're very, very quick. So for United, you needed quick wingers, and Mata and Lingard just weren't that. Lingard, Jesus Christ, he gets a 3 for me. He was poor. He was just as worse as Mata. Never got involved, just like Mata, but Lingard gets a 3 because I think he just did majoritarily worse than Mata. Majoritarily, is that a word? I don't know. I don't care. Bruno gets a 7 for me. I think he didn't do bad, but he didn't do fantastic that we all know he can do. And Ighalo, I would give him a 6, and that is just because of the goal. Apart from that, I think the first half, I think United Stan said it in the half-time review. You know, Ighalo was just playing Nintendo Switch with Paul Pogba in the first half. He was barely readable. Second half, got the goal. Very good goal. Very unorthodox style finish. He stuck his leg out like a crab leg. But I tell you what, it wasn't a bad second half. It was a majority better than second half for Ighalo. So a 6, nearly a 7, but a 6. Substitutes. Williams gets a 7. I think he made some great runs. And again, I think that he can do much better, but I think he did all right. Martial, I'm debating between a 6 or a 7, but I'm going to go with a 7 because, of course, he did get in there. He made some great runs, and I think he was all right today. Didn't get a chance on goal, which is a shame. Well, he got a couple of chances, but didn't really find a good, clean opportunity like we know we can do. Matic, I'm going to give him a strong 7, I think when he came on, that midfield grew stronger, and that midfield grew more frequent, and it grew more popular. And I think that Matic's a good holding midfielder. And I think with the midfields, before they came on, I think it was very much one attacking midfielder and two holding midfielders, so it was very side to side. But as soon as McTominay and Fred came off, and as soon as Matic came on, and I felt like it was Pogba and Bruno as the attacking midfielders, and Matic coming in with the holding positions. So I think Matic kind of made it a more his game. So I'll give a 7 for Matic because he was a good passer of the ball as well. And he got forward. He hardly ever passed back or passed side to side. So good performance from Matic. Not the best, but a good performance, a decent one. I think with more time he could have done better. Obviously Pogba coming on as well. Again, I'll give him a 7. I think that he was good. He made some good passes, but there were some passing mistakes that I saw, so I think that Pogba only gets a 7 for me. It could have been an 8, but passing mistakes can cost you. Greenwood, I'm going to give him a strong high 7 into the 8 category nearly, because Greenwood did very, very well today. In fact, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to give Greenwood an 8. I think Greenwood was fantastic today. I think that he made some great runs on the wing. He made some clever passes. I think that he was shielding himself from the ball really well, especially when he was under the pressure. And you know what? Greenwood did a fine job today, so I'm going to give him an 8. And Rashford, I'm going to give him a decent 7. I think a low 7 is the best rating because apart from a few runs and some passes inside, where was he today? So I think he was a runner rather than an assister. He did put in a couple of decent crosses, but not the best at performances from Rashford. So that's my player ratings for today. Overall, to summarise this review, I think that United scraped a win. I think Norwich did deserve something out of this, like a penalty shootout or something. And then maybe we win on penalties. But, Norwich, I tell you what, as soon as they went down to 10 men, and I agree, it was a sending off for Timo Klose, but he's going to be probably out for the rest of the season, according to the reports, so with that suspension. So, it's a very interesting debate. But, you know what, I think it was a red card. And, you know what, as soon as he came off, Norwich's defensive shape grew a little tighter. A lot tighter, not a little. And that's what Man U were struggling with, in my opinion, in the second half. I think that the first half, we were pretty much nearly all over them, just missing a chance. But you know what? I think that Norwich grew into the game. And I think that even though they had the 10 men, it was like having 10 men behind the ball. It was very hard to attack against. And it was like the commentators were saying on BBC when I was watching it on BBC One. It was like A to Z of shooting or finding ways to shoot. And Man U were just going through all the list from A to Z and just trying to find the perfect one to deal with a 10-man behind the ball attack against their defence. So, ultimately we found it from a set piece, and it was Harry Maguire with a scrapey tap-in. So, I think any kind of route into the goal will take it, because we need to get into that semi-final to win a trophy. So, obviously, I wouldn't have minded if we went out it would be embarrassing, first of all, if we went out the FA Cup, but obviously top four is the most important battle, so the FA Cup's not the busiest of competitions in terms of the priorities for United. So, I think that we are looking really at hopefully getting top four and getting an FA Cup under our belt. But we'll see who moves on from the other fixtures. So make sure you tune in for a review tomorrow from one of the fixtures. I'm only going to focus on one. And I'm still trying to decide whether to do Sheffield United Arsenal or Chelsea Leicester. I feel like I should do both, but see, it's tough. I'll decide tomorrow if I do all three or not. So, thank you very much, guys, for watching this review of Man U Norwich. Like I said, United are through. Scrapey win. Couldn't ask for more than that. But I would give man of the match to Luke Shaw, not Harry Maguire. But it was a tough call. So, thank you very much, guys. My name is the CHALL. It was the right hand this time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye. Champion! Champion!